Hey, welcome back to Blanchy Talks Watches. Today we're going to be doing the full review of the absolutely stunning Mitchell Timepieces Seco-Graph. Now, if you're following the channel, you will have seen me do the unboxing video, and at the same time I unboxed what I have on my wrist today, the Mitch Mason Maelstrom, which is a bit of a tongue twister, but if you want to see the full review of that, make sure you subscribe because that will be coming shortly on the channel. Okay, so back to the watch at hand. Micro brand is probably too big even for Mitchell Timepieces. This is what we'd call even a boutique brand, I'd say would be the best way to describe it. This is a very small brand that runs very small numbers of watches, so anything you get, you know, is quite limited. I'm not sure the exact amount of these that were made. I think it was 25 in this colour and 25 in the black, so 50 total. In or around that, so super low numbers. I also have the Mitchell Timepieces Raider in my collection, which was one of my first videos, and that was favourite watch in my collection for quite some time as well. So yeah, I'm well aware of how good the quality of Mitchell Timepieces are. If you look at the dial there, you'll notice there's something a bit strange going on. So I'll stop that, and you can see the big hand is in the second hand. It is actually a chronograph hand. The subdial at the 9 o'clock, or should I say the half subdial at the 9 o'clock, is the seconds, and then the half subdial at the 3 is a 30-minute indicator for your chronograph. So what makes this pretty unique is the fact that it's got the subdials underneath the dial, and you can only see half of them. So what that means is the dial is so much less cluttered, which I really love. I've said it in a few of my previous videos. I like chronos. I like the function of them. I like having the extra mechanical gears and all that. I'm a big fan of that side of, like, the heart and soul of watch, all that sort of nonsense. But I'm not a huge fan of busy dialed watches, so chronographs do tend to be busier. So this is an absolute perfect in-between, where you've got the functionality of a chronograph, but you don't have the mess that comes with it on a dial. You've got a lovely subtle dial. Close up there of the hands, you've got cathedral hands with good looms. As all Mitchell Timepieces watches, Brad really goes above and beyond on the loom. Chrono hand then is unloomed, but that doesn't really matter, and I'll show you why in a while. So this has a rotating bezel with a red mark. It looks like enamel paint, I want to say, to help you keep track. Nice bezel action. A nice strong click as well. Slight play, but nothing to be concerned about. Also on the dial you've got the minute track as well. Beautifully done. The painted on indices. You can see how they're raised. And the Seco-Graph named there at the 6. And just the Mitchell of Mitchell Timepieces at the 12. Very nicely done. I really do like this dial. It's subtle. It's not too plain. It's not too busy, it's the perfect balance. The case then, it is quite thick, but I don't think it's too thick. The crown then is engraved with the Mitchell M. You've got the two pushers to start and stop with your chronograph and to get the snap back. And for the underside, we've got a beautiful display window which shows off the ST19. Look at the details on that. That is such a gorgeous movement that I think absolutely deserves a display back. At a time when we're seeing so many of the Seiko NH series movement in watches, it's lovely to see something a bit different. You will notice as well, this doesn't have a rotor. This is a manual wind watch, which is a bit unusual, but at the same time automatic chronographs are incredibly expensive. So, yeah, ST19 all the way. I think it's a perfect balance. For someone like me who rarely wears a watch for more than one day, it doesn't really bother me at all. I mind practically every watch I put on. And those of you who will wear a watch for more than one day, I've seen it put before that with a hand wound watch. It's nice to give you that connection to the watch, because you have to take the time to wind it every day. And I have done that when I've worn watches for longer stints in my vintage pieces. It's nice to just take that few seconds every day to just stop, wind the watch, make sure it's going okay, and then go on about your day, just to give you a slight pause. Don't want to get philosophical, but we're all so busy these days, it's nice to have a reason to force you to stop for even just a few seconds. So then there's engraving around the outside of the case back. You can see Mitchell Timepieces, Seco-Graph, 37 out of 50, mechanical, and sapphire. That's the sapphire crystal. The strap then is a very nice leather strap, genuine leather of course, very very well made, lovely little details. So you've got the stitching, and then you've got a little ridge just beyond the stitching as well, especially noticeable on the keepers. Very nice detail. It feels like a very premium strap. It's a very comfortable watch to wear. Okay, so I'm going to take some measurements now before I try it on the wrist. I'll just get my calipers here. So there's still a few of these available from Mitchell Timepieces. I'll put a link in the description. And when I say a few, I think there's about 7 left at the time of filming this. So the 42mm case. Diameter of the lug to lug then is 49, and the thickness is just shy of 16mm. So it is a bit of a thicker watch, but as I said, it wears quite comfortably. Strap width I believe is 22. Yeah, 22. I said it before, I love 22mm watch straps because I have so many of them, so I can change it as much as I want. Now, as I mentioned before, there's a reason it doesn't matter that this chronograph hand isn't loomed, and the reason for that is the dial itself is actually loomed. So you can see there, it's quite bright lume. Now I haven't charged this up with a UV torch. I've just been wearing it around today. Not a particularly sunny day either, so it does have a bit of charge, but not a huge amount. But even still, you can still make out clearly even the brand name, the Seco-Graph name, the minute, hour and chrono hands. Obviously you can't see the sub-discs, but that doesn't really matter when it's dark. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a quick blast on my UV torch, because this will really show up just how good this lume is. This lume, after a quick blast of the torch, acts like a torch itself. Look at that. And to give you a bit of idea how bright it actually is, like, look at this. This is crazy. The fact that it lights up my hands, and that's purely from this. There's no other light in this room. Look how bright this is, even at a distance. One thing I do find is very handy with this watch, going to bed when it's charged up like this, you can actually use it as a as a bit of a torch to see where's your phone charger, as I did last night. So yeah, look, if you've been following the channel, you know I'm a huge fan of lume. So seeing torch lume like this absolutely is a massive plus in my books, and there's not many brands that do it better than Mitchell Timepieces with lume. Obviously there's the likes of Zelos and Seiko, who are very well known for doing amazing lume, but I think Mitchell are right up there. The longevity as well of the lume, it's going to last all night, and the hands and dial fade at different rates. You can see the hands are quite bright now. They will fade down a bit, but it's still legible all through the night. Okay, well, get the light back on and I will try it on the wrist. So for those of you who don't know, shame on you, you should be following my videos and you would know this, but my wrist is 7¼ inches, and with this watch being 42mm, I would say that's the perfect size for me. Yeah, look at that. That fits perfectly, and while it was quite tall, it doesn't feel bulky. It fits very well, very comfortably. It will go under a shirt cuff as well. I wore it under a shirt cuff today. Obviously it's not the slimmest, but it can definitely go for a sporty office look. Now, while this strap, engraved buckle as well, while this strap is very comfortable, I actually had something in my collection that I thought would suit it a bit better and make it a little bit more flashy. So the way I've been wearing it for the past few weeks is actually on this blue and white stitched stingray strap, and I think it fits it perfectly. I won't swap it on, I'll just do a quick overview like this, but look at that. Talk about a perfect combination. Now, I got that strap for a different watch that it actually didn't fit on, and it didn't suit colour wise for the backup watch I had, so I don't actually have a watch to put this strap on. And as soon as the Seco-Graph arrived in the post, I went, I have the perfect strap for it, and it is stunning on it. It's definitely not subtle on that strap though. It does lose a bit of its subtle cool. It's a little bit more in your face, but I have absolutely no problem with someone noticing my watch, so I don't mind having a bright strap to give it a bit more interest, especially for the summer months as well. It's nice to have something a little bit more flashy, and yeah, I think it looks very, very well on the Stingray strap. Let me know what you think in the comments. Would you rock a Stingray strap or not? They're very polarizing in the watch community, and a huge amount of people absolutely hate Stingray straps, and I don't know why. I think they're beautiful and I'll definitely be adding more to my collection in the future. But back to the Mitchell Timepieces Seco-Graph. As I've said, there's only a handful of these left. I'll put the link in the description to the Mitchell Timepieces website, and you can contact the owner, Brad, there. I don't think they're selling directly from the site at the minute, but the contact details will be there and Brad can sort you out. I don't know if they're going to do another run of these either. They didn't with the Raider, so if you want one, this could be the only chance to get one. And as I said, it's quite unique. It does stand out in the collection. You're not going to see something similar to this on AliExpress, which is always good. As for the pricing, it is, I think it's $575 at the minute. And the other colourway is a black dial with red discs. Now, one funny thing about this watch is, I don't know if other people see it, but I always think the white dial with the blue kind of looks like a happy face, and the black dial with the red looks like a bit of a mischievous face. But yeah, that might be just me. Let me know in the comments, does it look like a happy face to you? But yeah, something about the happy face in the watch makes me happy looking at it, so that's always a good thing on a watch. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there. As always with Mitchell Timepieces, fantastic build quality, no flaws at all. You might see there's a little scratch and ding here and there. That's because this is a review sample that's been worn by plenty of other people before me, and then I had it myself for quite a number of weeks that I've been wearing it. So it's not new. If you do buy one, you don't need to worry about that. The quality from Mitchell is always top notch. Yeah, really hard to fault this one. The only thing that I initially would have faulted was the crown isn't screwed down, and I like a screw down crown on every watch, but there's a good reason for it. If it had a screw down crown with the hand wind movement, if it was fully wound, you wouldn't be able to put the crown in. So that was actually caught in, I think, the early prototypes of this. So while it initially wouldn't have been my first choice, when you see the reasoning behind it, it's a good conscious decision to not have a screw down crown. So yeah, that's it. All positives. Beautiful watch, and not much time left to get one. So yeah, if you're interested, make sure you talk to Brad and let him know I sent you, and yeah, add them to your collection. You won't get something else like it anytime soon. And if you liked it, please do like, comment and subscribe. Any interaction at all with the video really helps me, and I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.